happy for you.
Well, one thing that so at that particular event that I went to, we was talking about, it was kind of like a free form. So everybody was just talking about their woes.
Yeah.
And their ups and downs. And so one thing that they was talking about was like when you get interviewed, they gonna ask you what you want for your salary. You never supposed to answer that question.
Yeah.
But they did say, and in some places is they have to legally tell you. They did say ask the company what's your budget for that position. Which I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Because they give you a range.
I don't think I would sip either.
Yeah, there's a range, right? So they would give you, if you don't say anything, they would give you the lowest part of that range. So it might be like from, 80 to 120. That's the budget for that position. And they might say, oh, like $85K for you. But if you say, what's the range for that? It would, in some places, I don't think in Maryland is they have to legally tell you. But in some places, they have to say, oh, it's 80 to 120. Okay. That would put you in mind like, okay. I'm not taking the 85 if the range is from 80 to...
I'm not even taking 90.
we got to talk about 110 to 115.
117.2, So.
We don't need the whole 120. I understand. I'm a reasonable man.
Yeah.
But, so that was one thing I learned. The other thing I learned in that event, which was, and something that I haven't done, because... And this one other thing that I ain't tell my company, I might tell them before I leave, is that I felt like I was stagnant. Last year, I wouldn't even got that raise if I didn't tell them I was leaving.
You told me that too, because you told me that the other job was willing to bring you in, and then you told your company, and then they gave you.
They gave me.
They like, oh yeah, here.
At first, no, that's not what they say. They say, hey, I don't know what we have there in our budget, this, that, and third. I was like, all right. And then that's when my manager talked to me, and then the CEO talked to me, and they was like, what do you need? We're going to make it happen.
Really?
And so they bumped up the salary. But then I go to this meeting, I'm hearing everybody else's salary. I was like, wait, am I underpaid?
No, question. Hold on. Now, that leads me to another point. Did they, at this meeting that you went to in D.C., right, is there a thing, or maybe you personally, about sharing salaries?
Some people would.
Okay.
So
okay, I'm talking about you personally. You ain't got to share it for the podcast, or not even to like people who not in your industry. I'm talking about, let's say if you was in that meeting at your job, the people who worked in the same company, and they ask you like, what is your salary? Are you the type to be like, oh, my salary is this?
If somebody asks,
Okay.
So if somebody asks me like, what's your salary? I'll tell them, but they have to tell me. What you like it would be one. It would go like this. If they were like, "Hey, how much you making?" I'm like, "How much you making?"
Okay.
If they tell me, I tell them.
They be like, "You first."
Hey man,
they be like, "Thank you."
You ask me first. If you're gonna ask me, you gotta give me. You can't say, "Hey, what's your name?" and not tell me your name. Like,
so you're in this meeting, you're hearing people's salary. You're like, "Wait a minute." Even with your bump, you still like. I'm still like, under the tide a little bit.
I was thinking to myself, what if that never happened last year? I would still be even worse off. I was like, oh no. So, and so that's one thing I realized is like, maybe I am underpaid. And so, okay, this was the point. I felt like I was hitting a ceiling, like not a ceiling, but there was not enough growth career wise. I wasn't going up the ladder. And I was like, man, I've been here for about 3 years. I should be a little bit higher in the things that I'm doing. But one thing that they told me about in this meeting is like, have like a bragging doc.
What's a bragging doc?
Which is like, you list all your accomplishments. Anytime somebody praise you.
Like acting like bragging.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anytime somebody praise you, screenshot, post in there. Anytime I said something, like you have a conversation and they say you did great work, write the date. Write what they said, post it, and tell them, why they was congratulate you or shout you out. Anytime you do, like, you run a project or you did something that you thought was dope, put the date, put what you did, put it up there. And what you do is when your evaluation comes, or when you talk to your manager, or when you want to have a
pay bump,
you know, or a promotion, you send them the doc. And so one thing, because I think a lot of times, and this is my problem, a lot of times you put it on your manager to recognize your work.
Exactly.
But your manager is doing so many things. Your manager is in other meetings trying to negotiate. And then he or she got to deal with like firing people and, you know.
And just boring manager things. Yeah.
They don't got time to see what every little thing that somebody's saying about you. So this doc helps not only you be, you know, look good in the favor of your manager, but also your manager to see, oh, this are things I didn't even know about. And so when you want to go and make your case, you have something to make your case. Me, I'm just doing my work. I'm like, okay, eventually they're gonna see my you know, the work, the blood and sweat and tears that I'm putting in. So they're gonna,
especially since you was one of the first ones.
I'm like, they're gonna see. But if I'm not advocating for myself, back to
a couple episodes ago.
Hey, I hope you guys are watching every episode.
Hopefully,
we dropping a lot of things that a lot of references.
I'm not even gonna hold you.